Alrighty folks, doing a little bit more work on the engine. I went ahead and took the valve covers off and I slowly adjusted all of the rockers. And it's kind of confusing as to how it gets done, but turning the motor over clockwise, you look at the exhaust valve, and as soon as it starts to open, you stop as you turn hand cranking it over, and you adjust the intake 1/2 to 3/4 turn tight. And you do that with, and then then to adjust the intake side or the exhaust side, you got to wait to keep turning it over until the intake opens all the way and is almost closed right at the end where it's about to be closed. Then you can adjust the exhaust side 1/2 a turn tight. You got to do that with all of them. You keep hand cranking the engine over until you get through them all. It was a real pain, but that part's all done because my starter was having a really hard time turning this engine over, and I don't know exactly why. The engine's got 6 quarts of oil in it, and I could hand turn it over, and that's a high torque special starter. I think my batteries are all junk. I'm trying a different battery right now. I got up on a 40 amp boost, charging it, see if this one will do any better. It may just be that I need a battery, I don't know. All right, I'm working on the throttle right now at this minute so I can actually be inside the car to give it some gas while I'm in there cranking. I went ahead and I hooked up the rest of the fuel system. It's completely hooked up now and it works. I ran the wires right up to the back there. You see the red and the white wire on the left. Those are my fuel wires. One wire comes directly from the battery, which would be this wire right here. It's supposed to be, it's kind of tangled, but it's supposed to be behind the battery right there. And that goes straight to the toggle switch. Okay, the white wire goes straight to the hot onto the fuel pump, and then there was a black wire on the fuel pump that is just grounded. You see, I made my own little ground, cleaned it up, drilled a small hole, put a metal screw through it, and tied it down on there. And now when I turn this on, it's working. And from what I can tell, I have no leaks, so that's always a positive. At first it was leaking a little bit, right? Oops, did the wrong, right there. And that's where where I'm waiting in the mail for my adapter. The only thing that came in was the fuel line, and the screw-on barb adapter didn't. And it's the wrong size. It's like a 5/16 bar metal tube that's coming out of there. So I used 2 clamps on there for right now until I get my other part in. The thread's in there. And I'm still waiting on my transmission fittings too. They didn't come in. But I do have extra hose that I'm going to use for my transmission lines right here. Oh, it fell down in there on me. Braided 500 to 5,000 PSI line, so that's good. And right now I'm trying to get the throttle pedal fixed. Let me show you this. The throttle pedal bar goes across this, and up here it has where it connects to the line. I'll show you. But I can't find the plate that went across here that holds the bar in. So what I'm doing is I'm making my own, like so, and threading it down on there. And that's what I'm doing right now. Alright, I'll show you what I got going on here with the throttle pedal and what I did on the outside here. Temporarily I threw that in there until I get a catch can. That one over there will be for filling. That hole over there in the valve cover will be for filling with oil. I got the valve covers back on. I got that center screw inside the carburetor to hold down a filter. And I got the throttle pedal on, and it works. So that's the update I got for you right now. I tried starting it. It almost started. It actually sounded like it was gonna, and it wasn't backfiring or anything. And then it just didn't. So I'm not sure yet. The battery kind of went around at the end and stopped. So I'll try again tomorrow, see what's going on. Maybe play with the timing a little bit, turn the distributor a little bit one way, then the other way to see if it helps. Probably a little bit off on timing is probably why it didn't start, I'm guessing. That's all I gotta say. All right, y'all, have a good one. All right, fellas, I think I got everything figured out, and we're about to do first startup on this thing. Let me show you a little bit of what I just did and got done. I got the transmission dipstick bolted down in, and it was beaten up bad. The whole tube is, but it works, so it's temporary until I can get a new one. But it doesn't leak, and it's good. And then I got the barb fittings and ran the transmission lines and just barbed them together right there. So, and I put about 5 quarts of transmission fluid in, maybe like 4.5. Like I had a full gallon, and then I had a little bit in the left of a gallon, so probably like 4.5 quarts. But it should be enough just to keep the pump from burning up while it runs for a few minutes. Hopefully it's going to start and run. That's the plan. I think I got the timing right, I think. And the fuel's all hooked up, timing's all hooked up, so. All right, I'm gonna get in the car and sit down. All right, fellas, here we go. Well, it didn't start, but it tried. It wanted to. Give me a few minutes. I'm going to try and get this thing started. I got to let the battery charge back up. All right, I found that I had to send that starter back to Summit where I got it from. And I found another one out in my junkyard. It just happens to fit on here. And it works and cranks it right over. And I just got it started. So, I am going to flip this around and see if it'll start again. Oh, I didn't quite catch the throttle enough. Yeah, this carburetor needs some tuning, but there, I put it on the tripod. Yeah, I haven't hooked the trigger wire up to the button yet, because I was just testing the starter to see if it would work or not. Timing is still off, so oops, there goes my cigar. Ah. I need to do a little trimming on my thermostat housing so I can turn my timing more this way. It's hitting my thermostat housing. Here, I'll show you. I can't really adjust my timing any further to the left where it runs because it's hitting right there. I don't know if you can see that through all these wires and crap, but it's hitting my thermostat housing right there. So if I grind this piece off and down, I should be able to adjust my timing further to the left so it'll stay running. All right, fellas, I'm sitting down for a minute, cooling off the starter here. Got a fan down there on high, blowing it down. All right, I had it running for like 30 seconds straight. As long as I held the throttle a little bit, it stayed running. And I moved to S after moving it one tooth. So now I just moved to the second tooth and went to go start it, and it was like, round, round, round. So, and I reached down to feel the starter, and it was super hot. So I'm letting it have a quick break, and drinking a hot cup of coffee and having my cigar, and just letting it cool down while I heat up. But I'm trying to get her going. It's really close, man. It's so close. I'm not worried about hooking up antifreeze or anything right now. It can run 10 minutes, 5 minutes, you know, without having to worry about that. So right now I'm just trying to get it running, get the cam, you know, broke in good, get everything broke in with that DDP stuff I have, that zinc additive that's in the oil. Whatever particles got left behind in the engine from my dirty hands and rags, you know, get it filtered through the oil filter. And ay, ay, ay. All right, we're almost there, guys. Well, unfortunately, I got some bad news on my engine. You know how when it had the cam in there, it was too big, and I was hoping that the valves weren't bent? Well, they are. And I'm gonna have to tear the intake and valve covers, carburetor, engine back off, or heads back off, and get some valves for them and redo the heads. I just checked compression, and it hit 30 pounds of compression, and it started leaking down. So it's not holding any pressure. And then I checked number 2 and did the exact same thing, except for it hit up to 90 and then started leaking down. So it's leaking through the valves, which means when I had that big cam on there and I was cranking it over, it had also bent the valves. That's the one thing I was hoping it didn't do. I guess I should have done a more thorough check on them, like shining a light through them and stuff like that. I didn't do that before I put it on, unfortunately. So now I got to take the intake and heads back off. And that's where I'm sitting right now. All right, got an update for you. After this last fiasco, let me turn this around. I had some stock rockers down there, and let me grab one off the floor and show you. This has a very short swivel base. So what happened is I had to end up putting these on. because this actually broke 2 studs, one on each side when it was trying to go back and forth. Snapped 2 of the studs right off. So I re-drilled them, re-tapped them, and I moved it over to this side because I had one broke off on each side. Re-drilled and tapped them. So now I'm short 2 7/16 studs, and with any luck, I'll have this back running and running correctly. And that's the update on this for right now. And right there's the 454 block, finally out of the motor home. It's getting tore down right now. I have no idea what we're gonna call the other car yet, but that's where we're at right now.